God, through God, anything is possible. It's God's infinite love and source and creation is just so vast and beyond our belief, our ability to really like digest the scope of how much God has access to. It's infinite. And it's like what well it's like even if we are at like in a plane, right? Like say you're inside of a plane and you're like, "Whoa, I can really see like just everything from below. You could see all the farm animals, you could see the mansions and like you'll see multiple mansions, right? So you can kind of get like a scope of like God's view, but that view from an airplane when you like you're above like the Hollywood Hills, right? And you see so say if you never saw a mansion before and then like you go into a plane and you go from like seeing zero mansions in your life to seeing hundreds, thousands, and you go over the Hollywood Hills and it would just be like, wow, like they're like people are really out here living abundantly. But God has that times infinity, like all the galaxies, all the oceans, all of the universes, all of the multi-universes, all of the dimensions within the multi-universes, and then beyond that. So when you shrink back down and you go and you're really going through just a tough moment, a tough time, a tough thought process, a tough, like it seems like there's a problem, you just can't figure it out. God's vastness is so huge. Like when you think, if you kind of just need a reminder, just do that. Like just think about it on that level. Kind of just do like a quick. I always say this. Like I think that's why I got promoted to be a district manager so quickly at a young age because I was for some reason I was able to do the bird's eye view very easily. And something may seem like it's in chaos during that time, during that like when you're in it. But if you take the time to zoom out, you actually end up being able to, I hope my phone doesn't go out. You actually being, let me see, can I, hold on really quick, guys. My phone just kind of like went dark. But when you're able to zoom out, you actually can see, oh, well, like, that's actually not that big of a problem. It's actually really small, or it's actually really fixable, or really, I don't really have any control over that problem. So I'm just going to let it play itself out and I'm just going to control what I can control, which is the way that I handle it, the way that I view it, the way that I react to it. And in 2024, and anytime you're watching this video, because this is evergreen, it can apply to anything. Try, consistently tapping into the limitlessness of God will forever be a thing, right? Will always be something we're trying to embody on new levels. That's why I call my page embody pursuit. We are in pursuit of it, always embodying that very next level. So once you get to one level, you're really embodied with it. You're operating at a really solid level, and it's like, okay, something happens and it breaks you, and you're going to your next level. So you're in pursuit of that, right? You're in pursuit of your best wellness, your best health, your best wealth, your best emotional control, your best emotional intelligence, your best family relationships, your best intimate relationship with your partner. Like you're just, there's always levels that we're trying to get to and become enlightened in. And that really does end up breeding like a really beautiful life that you can be proud of, right? And so the journey doesn't stop. If you're in a human body, it's part of what it is. And once you kind of just can like be comfortable with that, it just kind of is fun to just enjoy where you're at and just like bask in the lessons and bask in what you can be grateful for and learn how to shift your mindset, learn how to intake God's infinite love that he's like wanting to pour into you. And so in 2024, again, if there's any questions or anything that you guys want to add or you want to ask me, I'm happy to ask or happy to answer. So you might be going through something right now where you just feel stuck, right? You feel stuck. You feel like you are, your wheels are turning. You feel like you just can't break out of this, like either the circumstance or your environment, or you can't break out of not being able to get the body of your dreams or not being able to make better food choices, not, being terrible with your money. Like it's just, but it's like, you want to change it, but like you keep doing it, right? And it's a limiting belief that you have running in the background. So, like a computer, when you open up a bunch of tabs, and say if you have like the main tab open, like let's just say I was looking at my email, but I had like done all these other searches. And so these searches from, like, let's just say I was searching food, I was searching self development, I was searching about cars, I was searching all these things. All those things, even though I don't see them, the computer is still running those programs because you didn't close it out, right? So that's what we do as humans. We are running programs subconsciously. This is a scientific fact. We are operating out of 95% of subconscious programming. So 95% is very vast. So every life circumstance you've had, every experience, your upbringing, your geographic environment, the music you listen to, the food you eat, the friends you've had, the friends you don't have any, like every single thing becomes a program. It becomes an experience where you're like, okay, I have experience with that. So that is now how I'm going to view life through that moment, right? And one of the things that I feel like is part of my purpose on this planet, and I'm still on my journey, but I feel like I'm in a really good spot. I appreciate that. I'm saving the world one purpose driven conversation at a time. So I'm Black and Punjabi. Growing up, and I'm starting to talk about this more because it's like, I don't know, I just feel called to talk about this more. I am Black and Punjabi, and that's a very, very interesting combination to be. Not, I'm dumbing it down. It's a very, very unique, one of the most unique mixes in the entire planet, in my opinion. And the reason why I say that is because I don't meet any other mixes with my mix. And so I don't really have people to like lean on this with. Like there's a lot of people that are Black and white, a lot of people that are Black and Mexican, a lot of people that are Black and Asian, but I don't have like a Black and Punjabi community that like we get to compare and contrast like our stories. So it's like, I just feel like it's my own unique competitive advantage, like that I just have this, my viewpoint of life is very unique in that I saw outcomes happen, and all the outcomes had different inputs, but the outcomes were both still successful. So I saw my dad do things a way, and I saw my mom do things a certain way, and they both were correct, right? Like it wasn't like, if you talk to a Punjabi person, it's like Punjabi way is the best, Punjabi way is this, Punjabi da 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 da, Punjabi food, Punjabi music, Punjabi, Sikhism, Punjabi, and it's like, it's beautiful, it's great, it's a beautiful path, a beautiful culture, ethnicity. It's a very rich, ancient, like amazing culture to be a part of. But then you go in the Black community and it's Black people do this, da 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 da. We've been doing this for years. This is what our ancient ancestors did. This is, if you tap into our African ancestry, this is what we did. We got like, so I was born into seeing both. And I think that part of my gift was that, well, if I saw two different outlooks being correct, then that means several are correct. So when I'm in different communities or different environments, I was able to adapt very easily because I was just open. I was open to knowing and seeing that, okay, wow, in this community, they do things this way and like it works. And then over here, they cook this way and it tastes really well still. And they do this way. Whereas I feel like a lot of times you just limit yourself. So it's almost like, it's what we do when we limit God, right? So you can go into a community and like limit yourself and like not be willing to learn, not be willing to expand, not be willing to see how other people do things and miss out on opportunities. But we do that with God all the time. And so I'm actually on my own journey of like not limiting God. I'm like, okay, I already have this like more open-minded outlook on life with like different communities, but how often are we all limiting God? Like we're limiting God on financial issues that God can fix. We're limiting God on a like just a bad circumstance that God can fix. We're limiting God on, like, maybe we feel really stuck, but like all we have to do is just say, God, guide me, help me silence myself, help me still myself so I can hear where you're trying to nudge me, where you're trying to have me go, so that way I can, put forth the energy in the right area. But a lot of times where we go from our egoic mind and we're just thinking, doing, efforting, over analyzing, analysis paralysis. We're just like trying really, really hard, and it just ends up being this stuckness, right? And life has no limitations. Absolutely. Suku, I believe that's a cool name if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Suku. Yes, life has no limitations. It really doesn't. And I think that the internet is such a beautiful tool. There's, of course, pros and cons, but the internet's a beautiful tool because we can see that there's so many people doing amazing things on the planet, and you can just go on YouTube and tap into someone that's living in New Zealand and see the amazing things that they're doing. And it may be completely opposite from what you're doing in America, but like what they're doing out there is thriving and it's working and it's great, right? So it's the same with God. Like if you are in a situation, like I'm bringing this circling this back around to, if you are really struggling, if you don't have a spiritual practice, I've been meditating on this well. I don't necessarily have the words to convince someone that there is a God, that there is a vast divine source, that there is a creation energy, that there is an omnipresent, ever infinite, like just energy. Like I don't know how many different ways I can communicate it. I just was born with knowing that is a truth. That is a thing. I know, I'm aware that I have a body. I'm aware that I am a soul living a spirit, a soul living in a human body experience. And I'm here to learn, grow, and elevate and enlighten. With people that are not there, I don't think this YouTube channel is for you, because I'm going to end up, I kind of have held back my spirituality a lot and been more practical, but I'm just feeling called to show that my life has been very driven through spirituality and God. And I'm talking about spirituality. I'm talking about God's religion. I'm not talking about a human worldly religion. No offense to any religion. I just have a relationship with God, and I have a spiritual relationship. I'm tapped in. And so that's just a disclaimer. That's just a disclaimer. I don't, thank you. I appreciate that. 'Cause so that's where I'm at. So if anyone is ever curious about really wanting to understand that and needing scientific backing, or needing something more concrete, or more like something more structured, listen to Joe Dispenza. Dr. Joe Dispenza is an amazing, I feel like he was born on the planet to help people tap into this infinite source, God's divine, God spark that's activated in all of us. He is born to be able to explain it through the metaphysical perspective, through the quantum mechanics perspective. That's not my journey. So that's just like a huge disclaimer. Like people that are new to my channel and come across my channel, because I do get comments saying God's the only, Christianity is the only way, the Bible's the only way. And the Bible is a gorgeous, beautiful, amazing book of the God. And it does, I was raised Christian from my Black side. So yes, I also was raised Sikhism. So a human being that was raised with a Sikhism path and a Christian path. And it's so like, who would ever put those two paths together? And I literally go to the Indian community, and I go to a gurdwara. I go to I meditate. I'm listening to, everything's in Punjabi, even though I'm trying to learn Punjabi. I'm feeling the vibration of God through that. I go to a Christian church. If it's a church I'm aligned with, if it's a Christian group I'm aligned with, I can feel the divinity. I can feel God through that. So when I rise above it, again, going into the bird's eye view, it's just God. And God has placed in several thousand paths you can take to discovering God, right? So that's just that. So going back to limitations, all you have to do is literally ask. Like, if you are efforting, you're over efforting, you're overthinking, you're over analyzing, you're stressed, you're absolutely, God is everywhere and everything, Suku. Absolutely. If you're over driving your nervous system and you're, I think I was doing this a lot in my 20s as well. Like I was operating in a very masculine type of like, because you know in America it is very for a man and a woman it's very masculine. Like get a career, move up, climb up the ladder. Like your masculine is very activated, but I think it was really messing with my adrenals. It was messing with my nervous system. It was messing with my hormones. And so now that I've plugged more into like my femininity, my feminine power, which most women born, we are feminine beings. We're supposed to be operating more from the feminine and tapping into the masculine when it's needed. We have both. Men and women both have feminine and masculine. But I do notice that when I've just kind of silent, like calmed down and been more silent and been more still, God's been calling me to operate more in the feminine because that's really where our true power is activated. If you're female, same with a man, you know, it's, and then we have like this beautiful synergy of like the energies working together when you come with a partner. So all in all, I just started asking, like, I just started silencing myself and saying, look, like, I know, God, that there's ways that you want me to go. There's things you want me to talk about. There's people that you want me to activate. And like, I'm over efforting. So like, where do you want me to go? And so for you, I really want to encourage you to do the same thing. Again, this could be in any arena. It could be a career, a relationship. Maybe you're trying to heal. Just ask, like tap in with yourself. Even if you have to think about it from a practical standpoint, like, you know, when it's just like, I got to go take a 5-minute break or I got to take a breather, you're checking in with yourself, right? So you don't have to just do that only when there's turmoil or there's an issue or there's a big fight or a big argument. I need to cool off. Sometimes we're having those arguments and fights with ourselves. Like there could be something that you're going through and it doesn't have to be an argument with the person. You could be going through issues and over analyzing, overthinking a certain circumstance or a certain path or a certain decision you want to make with yourself. So you need to kind of take a 5-minute break from yourself. And what I mean by that is being silent, being still, and just saying, even if you want to ask yourself, your higher self, God, higher self, angels,